Hey Bookworms, we are going to do our bookmark kit today for our custom time machine bookmark for our book. I said that weird. But anyway, here is our bookmark, and let me get my book out of here so I don't get paint on it. I am super excited to do this earlier on in the quarter so that we have our beautiful bookmark to put in our book. So let me pull that out. We've got our canvas bookmark, just like the couple past ones. And then we've got our black tassel. And then our black ribbon for our tassel. And then we've got our beautiful charms, our steampunk charms there. So these are the ones I've got. Each of you got a little bit different. So they'll all end slightly different at the end. And then I have got my two brushes, my smaller ones here. And then I might grab an even smaller one. But typically these are the two I use. I've got my water and then a paper towel to wipe. And then I'll tell you my colors I've got. So a dark purple, blue, a pearl purple, yellow, orange, red, and then a bronze is what I'm going to start off with, and then we'll see where it goes from there. Okay, so my first idea is I'm going to do like the shimmery purple in the background here. So I'm going to grab my flat brush, and I'm going to go around. I'm going to leave the clock, and I'm going to go around most of the rest of it, and I give it that shimmery pearl purple everywhere. And look how nice that the print comes through so you can still see, so you don't have to worry about losing the detail. And even if you're not great at painting the detail, especially these are small, you still can allow the colors to come through. Or I'm sorry, the detail to come through. So I'm just putting the color on and then sort of watering it down to move that purple around. I'm going to leave the Sphinx. I'm not going to paint her pink or purple. So in the book it talks about her being like a marble, so I was going to leave her sort of white and probably pearlize her as well. How are you guys liking the book? I'm actually like super far already through it. I'm more than halfway done with it already, which I can't say I've done with any of the other books. Like I sort of stayed on track or fell behind, depending on which one it was. But this one's like a really nice, easy read, and it's fun. So I've really been enjoying this one. Jump up here and make sure I'm still good in the... I would say, I think this might be, I don't know, it's hard to say for sure, but this might be one of my favorites. The Christmas Carol will always be one of my favorite classics forever and ever. I've read that one multiple times though, but as far as most classics, so part of the reason, if you didn't know, part of the reason I started this is because I love to create and I'm inspired by stories. But I realized not long ago that I have not read a lot of the classics, which inspire so much of our culture and our stories and our movies and other books. And I'm like, why, for someone that says I like art and books, I should have read more of these, right? Because you can see so much. I mean, just take example like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, like in all the comic books with, the Hulk that it's inspired, things like that. So, and then, I mean, Frankenstein, think of how many different movies and books you've read that have been inspired by Frankenstein. So we have all these wonderful, like, other pieces of art that have inspired generations of people. So anyway, to get to the point, I have not read many classics. I've read some, but I felt I needed to read more and continue on with the inspiration that others have found in them. So that is how Bookworms and Brushes was created. Okay, so there is our lavender background. And then while that's still wet, I'm going to pick up just a touch of this blue and get a little watered down there. And I want it darker up in here. I'm going to do some like swirls, almost to create like the clouds. I'm going to go around. Now this canvas is like slightly treated, so it doesn't absorb or dry really quick, which is sort of nice, as long as you're prepared that it's not gonna dry really fast. And then you can keep working with it a little bit longer. It's starting to look pretty cool already. Oh, see, I touched it and it's wet. I keep forgetting. The nice thing is, the really nice thing about these canvases, so just FYI, if you do not like what you did, you can take a damp paper towel and wipe it off. Or even completely start all over again. I actually did that last quarter as well with one of these. I wasn't liking what I was doing and I washed it off. Just ran some water over it and just let it dry before I started continuing with the paint. So you can see some of these swirls and clouds, they're here. I'm just doing some of that motion with my brush. Okay, so we're gonna leave that for now. I might grab, so I have a heat gun set up right here. If you have one of these, awesome. If not, you can use a hair dryer. If not, of course, just let it dry. But I might use that in the time frame here to get this finished up the way I want it to be. So I also want to do, I've got a bronze here, and it talks about the bronze that's around the, is it like a bronze area or building or something? It's like a bronze pedestal, I think is what it said, that the Sphinx is on or near. I'm trying to remember. So we're gonna make this bronze. And look at all that nice detail you can still see through there. All right. I'm gonna go around the clock with the bronze as well. Yes, I forgot to tell you, I did switch my brushes. Do whatever brush is most comfortable for you, whatever you have on hand. Now you can see I just accidentally got some bronze on the face of my clock and I don't want that there, and I'll show you in just a second how I'm going to get rid of that. Okay, so let me rinse my brush. It's clean, and then I've just got water on here and I'm going to wipe that away. And I've got some up here on this face right here. There we go. Okay. I did not grab my pearl white. Let me grab that. Because I want that for my Sphinx. And then after that, I might hit it with the heat gun to dry this up real good for me so we can move on. So get her nice and pearly. Now I probably will here, like I've done in the past, pull out the colored pencils to put some of the detail back in. I find that that works really nice. Sort of makes it pop a little bit for me. And that's up to you if you want to do that. I'm going to hit some of the pearl on these clock faces. I missed some spots that I want to touch up. Okay. All right, I'm going to hit this really quick with the heat gun. Okay, now I'm going to get some of the detail back into the planets and the stars and stuff too. So I'm going to do a little bit of yellow and touch these stars. I'm just barely dabbing on each of these, and then I'm going to go back here in just a second and sort of blend that yellow out a little. So I'm going to rinse my brush, get some of the water off, and then dilute this yellow out a little bit. Okay. So I'm just going to go through and put some more detail in here of things. I'm going to darken up some of this. Rinse my brush off good, and then I'm going to put some oranges and reds into these the planets around here. See how easy that is to clean up? It's awesome. I'm going to put a little bit of the bluish colors through here. I have this dark purple and I didn't even really use it. I don't know if I want to or not. Let me see. Yeah, we'll put some of it through here. Some accents. All right. I'm liking it. Let's see, what else do I want to do? I think I'm going to put a tiny touch of orange in the middle of each star. At least any of the big ones. Talks about the ruddy, orangish sun, so. Okay. I like it. I'm going to hit it with the heat gun again. Okay, and then I'm going to grab my colored pencils. Right, and I've just got the really basic colors. No need for anything fancy. And mostly I use, in the past I've used like black and the brown just to add more shadow to everything. I've even used like a darker, or not a darker, but a regular number 2 pencil as well. I got my dark brown, some shadows on this, and I'm mainly just going over the shadowy area that are already on the print, and just in darkening it up a little bit so it makes it pop a little more. going to grab a dark brown acrylic, and I'm going to put a little bit more detail in with this, and just my teeny tiny, or not my teeny tiny, but my small paint, liner brush. Just a little bit of that. I just feel like I need a couple areas a little darker. So I'm going to go back to my liner brush here now that I've got some of that on there. I just want to darken it up, and I've got, like I said, I used a really dark brown. There we go. I feel like that's getting me some of the contrast I was wanting. And I'm going to use the water to lighten some of this up. All right. Okay, and then I'm going to get regular white, which I did not have, and I pretty much always use to add some highlight back into here. You could definitely use a paint marker if you have one. That would be probably even easier. I'm just going to go ahead and use the brush, and I'm going to definitely put some highlights back onto the Sphinx. And then some highlights. See how I'm like grabbing and pulling real quick to make those like highlights, almost like a teardrop shape. And then let's see if I can get a tiny enough highlight on the clocks here. There we go. And then I'm gonna put some highlights on my planets. There we go. I feel like that was really making things pop a little better. Okay, let's see if there's anything else I want to do. I'm trying to decide. Ooh, you can see the pearl really well when I move it around. That was cool. Hopefully, I wonder if you guys can see that in the video. I don't know if you can. Very neat looking. It'd be pretty to use glitter on this too, so if you have glitter, I think that would be really neat as well. I'm trying to decide if there's anything else I want to do. I think I'm pretty happy with that. Ooh, that looks nice. I don't know if I want to do all that though. Pick some of that up. So that was just my micron pen. I don't know that I want to not take some of that off. There we go. I don't think I want to do that though. I'm trying to decide. Let me sharpen this. I think I do want to add a little bit more color to the background. Oh, here's my pencil sharpener. Oop, I'll make a mess. Let's see. I'm going to grab my white pencil, blend that out a little bit. There we go. Okay. I think I'm pretty happy with that, I think. For now, anyway. I'll show you guys if I update it at all. I think, let me grab this, let me see. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I really like the pearl on it. I feel like glitter would be really neat on this too. I'm gonna grab, I don't know, it's still like, I love vibrancy. I'm so bad about leaving things if they're not. There we go. I think that might be what I want. All right, so I just got the purple. I feel like it needs like a darker background almost. What do you guys think? Is that better? I think it is. I like the way that's, now I'm gonna blend those lines out a little bit. Yes, I like that better. And it softens from there. Yes, I like that better. Okay. I might do that around the Sphinx too, actually, to make it pop a little more. Yeah, I do. I like that. Okay, let's do that around the Sphinx too. Give her a little more contrast. That's what I was looking for. gonna pick up some of this purple around these stars so it's not quite so. There we go. I love it. That's more what I wanted. Okay. A little more vibrancy. Very cool. Much better. Just pulling some of the orange down in here. There we go. All right, I think I'm pretty happy with it now. All right, so let me pull it up so you guys can see. You can still see all the cool little details of the sketch underneath. Okay, so then, however you decide to do this, here, let me hit this with, I don't want to mess it up. Let me dry this off really quick, and then we're going to put our tassel on. Okay. And then what my plan, I think, was, let's see, I think I'm just gonna knot one of these on the one end. Get it between the spokes there. I'm gonna put a double knot, and then I'll show you how I'm gonna, you could do glue, but I'm actually gonna just use a lighter to sort of melt this because it's synthetic. So I'm going to knot that first, and then this other side I'm going to do two separate. So I'm going to knot this up a little bit higher. Let me see how I want this to hang. I'm just gonna do, yeah, I'll do a double knot. I think this will work the way I want it to. Okay. And then, hopefully, I'm having trouble with my hands again today. Oh, that did better than I thought it was going to. Okay. Hopefully I'm not getting out of the video, sorry. And then I'm just putting a little tiny knot at the end there. I'm pulling that tight, maybe. Oh, just pulled it out. Just kidding, hold on. Oh my gosh, my fingers just like won't. There we go. Okay, so now I need to not pull it all the way. Okay. There we go. All right, so there is that knot, and then I'm gonna trim this. And then that should hang down nicely, and then we've got the other gear there, and this gear here. Let me grab my lighter, and I'll show you. Careful doing this, please. Let me move that out of the way. And just barely, and that'll sort of melt that all together. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this little knot down here. And that's it. All right, so now we've got that. So we've got our 3 gears hanging. And then I'm going to sort of fold it in half how I want it to hang. So see how it's like tiered almost. Make a loop. Push it through. Keep that loop that I had, hopefully. And then pull these all through. And then, whoops, pull it straight through. And then there we go, our tassel that hangs out the top with all of our gears, our steampunk look. And there is that. Isn't that fun? Beautiful. It's gonna look awesome. Our book. There it is. Move all this out of the way so you guys can see it. Look at how cool. Isn't that beautiful? I love it. Very cool. All right, you guys, I'm excited to see your bookmarks. I hope you're having fun making these. They're so pretty hanging out the top with the little memorabilia charm type tassels. And I look forward to speaking with you guys about the book and what you think. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.